Hi, everyone. I have graded your papers on innovation and your PowerPoints and given you feedback in your rubric. I wasn't going to send you a video this week because I have a head cold and I'm hearing everything like an echo in my ears. But I thought I'll just show you how human your faculty are. Even the superheroes get sick. But fortunately, all my germs are on this side of the screen and you cannot get them. I am getting very good around the clock care from puppy 1 and puppy 2, although I'm not entirely sure what the medicinal value of being licked on your feet all day is. It's kind of gross. But they seem to sense that I don't feel well, so they have been stalking me. I was really excited to grade this assignment. My hope is that giving you the opportunity to do a short paper and then to do something with PowerPoint, which uses a different skill set, was something that you found enjoyable from a student perspective. PowerPoint is one of those tools that we use very, very often in leadership positions, especially when we're doing presentations. So being fluid with it and being comfortable with it and being able to develop a professional PowerPoint set I hope was an opportunity for you to demonstrate skill sets you already had or grow them in a different way. I was very pleased with the outcome. One thing I want to encourage you to do is to make sure that as you develop slides that you don't crowd them with words, and that to remember that including pictures that are not cartoons or graphs or some sort of visual difference on a slide, that brings up the monotony of all the words that are on a slide. So I want you to be thinking about that from an audience perspective. How are they going to feel if they look at a PowerPoint set and all they see is words? What they're going to do is they're going to read your slide and then they're going to start flipping through their phone, reading their text messages or go on Facebook. So you want to do something to spice up the PowerPoint slide in a professional way. So make sure you read my feedback. From a paper standpoint, I think you guys came up with some really great examples of innovation and some innovative practice changes. One of your classmates did a really good job providing a great summary of the importance of innovation. Your classmate Tanya wrote in her paper that nursing in today's world no longer has room for sacred cows and the repetition of existing processes and procedures simply for the sake of maintaining the status quo. Innovation is a tidal wave carrying us forward into a technological future filled with advancements which challenge the way we provide care and the priorities we're comfortable with. It also pushes nurses onto a platform of independent ownership of change and the mobilization of a unique experience and research to improve the care we provide as professionals. I think that is such a wonderful professional way of explaining what nurses are experiencing at the pace of innovation. I've been a nurse for 23 years, and from the time I started nursing until now, it's nothing like when I started nursing. And I'm grateful for that in many ways. One of the concerns I have is I think we've become so technologically driven and so innovative at such a fast pace that I think sometimes we do forget that there's a patient in the bed while we're typing away on our computer and we forget to make eye contact. I think sometimes that the computer terminals and all of our technology become a barrier between us and our patient. So while I don't want to go back to the Florence Nightingale era, I think sometimes technology cannot always facilitate a good patient relationship. But I do appreciate Tanya's perspective in that. I think you guys did a great job this week. When we look forward to next week, your first practicum log is due. I want to remind you that there are 3 boxes. You should have a page in your log for each day you were in your practicum setting. If you went to practicum 4 days, you should have 4 logs completed. And remember, each log has 8 pages. So if you've been there 4 days, you'll complete 4 days of pages within that log. The first box on every page is your goals and objectives. You're going to include the goals and objectives that you worked on during that one day. Please don't copy and paste every one of your goals and objectives in that box. Only put the relevant ones that you were working on. The next box is your supportive narrative. That box is more than just telling me the ins and outs of your day, and providing me kind of a timeline. It also tells me the things you learned, the wisdom you garnered, the aha moments, the times you were listening to something and you thought, wow, that's something I never would have thought of. Perhaps you were in a business meeting and you watched two people have an exchange that wasn't professional and didn't reflect kind respect. What were your thoughts about that? That's really where the rubber hits the road, and those experiences while you're in the practicum setting are your growth opportunities. So I want to know not just the logistics and the mechanics of your day, but also what your thoughts are about that and what insights you gained from that experience. The last box is your application section. And folks, this is where you tell me how everything that you did in the supportive narrative section matters as it relates to the ANN scope and standards. This is where you're going to go in and look at what standard does the work I did today relate to, how are they related? All of this should connect back to your goals and objectives. So when you finish writing your application content, you should be able to identify a specific standard that you were working on, and that should be accurately reflected in your goals and objectives, especially if you used the ANA scope and standards to develop your goals and objectives. That'll make it a whole lot easier when you're doing your application section. The other thing I want to remind you is there is a paper for I think it's conflict resolution. Just remember that that paper has has three main parts. Think through a specific conflict. It's asking you to take a specific conflict and break it down and do an analysis of it. Pick something big. And please don't email me and tell me that you've never had a conflict in the workplace, because I'm going to want to move and work wherever you're working. It doesn't have to be something that has happened last week, last month, just the time in your career when there was a significant conflict that was going on and how things were handled. The bigger, more complex the conflict, the more robust your paper is going to be. So really sit down and spend some time thinking about the times in your career when you've really faced a difficult time, and think about what that conflict was about, and follow the rubric closely. You're expected to use level headings. This paper is more complex, so you should be using level 1 and level 2 at a minimum. Many of you should be using level 3. Go back into your APA manual and review why do you use each of those levels and how they look when you put them into practice. I think I'm done. I'm going to go take cold medicine, take a bath, and go to sleep. Hopefully I will not be so congested tomorrow. I hope you guys are well. If you have any questions or concerns about the feedback that I've given you this week or in the past, please don't hesitate to contact me. I'm happy to talk with you by phone or exchange emails to make sure you have clarity on the feedback. Happy to discuss any concerns you have. You guys have, well, I guess it's have a great evening, but it's almost 10 o'clock. So hopefully you people are in bed. And if you're not in bed, you're at work. Or maybe you're working on this class, which would be okay too. But just go to bed soon. Y'all take care. Good night.